So I was like, can I come?
I'm keeping that in.
Yo, don't. Don't. Okay,
All right.
sorry.
Well, back to our normal scheduled programming. So we are officially in PLL free agency mode. Players are signing left and right. I want to get your guys' thoughts on how this has compared to other sports free agencies so far. I know, in my opinion, NBA is top tier. NFL is just a little below that, but I don't know. Personally, I've been impressed so far with the amount of signings.
Yeah, and I think on top of that, they're doing a really good job about not just showing what the trade was or who signed or what have you, but like the immediate effect on that team, showing like statistics that will matter for next year, whether they're losing, whether they're gaining. So no, I think they're doing a really good job. And it's great that we have guys like Diggs Tape and Joe Keegs and a bunch of other guys just like sharing it even more. So it's creating conversation. So we're on our way. I like it.
Yeah, if you guys are not following guys like Joe Keegan on Twitter, you need to be, because that provides quite a bit of context for these signings.
Yeah, it does. And I don't know if we're getting into like the favorite player or whatever, but how did Diggs Tape know about the O'Keefe signing so early?
Yeah, so that was weird because he and a couple other guys wrote about it. I didn't see anything official for like a few hours after that.
So our goalie in high school, Brian Taylor, he went to Penn State and he shared O'Keefe's picture on his Instagram like that morning. It was like, can't wait to see these guys back together. And I was like, how does everybody know this?
Yeah, I'm wondering, like, I don't know. I just don't know. Maybe they don't have like confidentiality agreements in place where, like, if a team calls a player in the PLO, can he just go tell his boys, like, yo, I'm talking with this team?
That's, I mean, we don't have Shams, we don't have Woj, so no, it's like, it's not. That's true. That's true. That's interesting about how much the privacy kind of plays into it.
But yeah, there was in the Discord for PLO, like everywhere, there were, holy crap, Mac O'Keefe signed. And I was like, I have not seen anything official yet.
Yeah, but it's very official and it's very dangerous.
Absolutely huge signing though.
Yeah. Jeez, man.
That's gonna be huge. So that's a good
numbers. So.
Good segue. So far we've had a lot of free agents sign. Which one do you think will have the biggest impact this season? Sam, I'll start with you.
I think Marcus Holman from his effect or from his like past on Archers, past career on Archers. I think just adding his skill set to Lyle Thompson and that attack. I mean, yeah, they're going to go from a 1-6 team to obviously something better this season. With that
can't go anywhere but up. Yeah, well, that attack line is looking pure filth. I mean,
yeah,
Lyle Thompson went from having a rookie in Asher Nolting as his only option, really, to now having Marcus Holman, and they did sign Matt Cavanaugh as well.
Yeah, dude, I'm really scared about making the decision. Do you come down from the wing and double Lyle?
That's what I'm saying.
Or do you let him kick it out and let Marcus Holman eat all day?
Like, your entire defensive scheme has to change now. It is not like you cannot just circle the wagons on Lyle.
So this is like, remember last time we talked about that the Cannons coach reached out to Lyle as soon as he was hired? I think Lyle literally said, yo, give me a shooter.
Yep.
Give me a shooter on the wing.
Well, it's also Holman's dad, so
correct.
He was probably like, I know a guy.
I can let me text with him like group text and see if
I'll see him tonight. So.
I'm wondering that dynamic. What's that gonna be like? I think they've actually played and coached together already, but I don't know.
So that's got to be the first father-son on the same team in the PLL, right?
Has to be, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Some of these coaches are so young; they probably don't even have sons old enough to play in professional.
100%.
That's gonna be interesting.
That's a big dude. That's a big son. But I don't know. It still just makes
me question. It's got to be a dream though to be a professional athlete. Because Holman's dad probably coached him when he was growing up.
Right.
So it's like now imagine being a professional athlete and your dad. I don't know. That might be a nightmare actually if it was my dad, but that would be.
Well, I mean, I think
really scary.
I think they've obviously proven that they can actually have that relationship, but if you would have told Marcus when he was in high school that the PLL would be sharing a big story about how you signed with a major league lacrosse team for a multi-year contract. You know how crazy that was sounding to him at the time? Like all that sounded so far-fetched, and now
it would be like telling the Romans about AI and
seriously,
quantum physics.
Right. It'd be like that doesn't even make sense right now. So it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, so I think Marcus Holman is a huge facelift to their attack line.
Yeah. It fills their major shooting hole that they had last season.
It fills a hole. I think the major one is on the other side of the field for the Cannons. So I'm going with Matt Reese because as we saw last year, our boy Jake Pulver has been Tom Hanks in Castaway, just alone on an island out there.
Wow.
So
kind of a spoiler.
Well, I mean,
to be honest, I didn't see this signing.
What year did the Castaway come out? Hold on, I'm not skating over that. That's a 20-year-old movie. No, it's not 20.
No,
it
might be 20.
20.
It might be.
What year do you think Castaway came out? I'm gonna look it up.
2001.
2004.
Yeah,
2001.
It came out in 2000. This is a pre 9/11 movie.
Wow.
We were 8 years old when that came out. So if there's anyone out there who hasn't seen it,
8 years old. I won a house league championship that year. It's cool. Anyway.
It's so weird. Do you remember that?
I didn't see the Matt Reese signing, dude. This is massive. This is
Matt Reese is huge. I don't know if that was today or it was recent, but
was it? Okay.
And we talked about that last time we uploaded of, the Cannons can do all they want on the offensive side of the ball, but if they don't bolster that defense, it doesn't matter.
No, so, I mean, they got Kyle Hartzell too. Like I know he's a little.
That's true. They did get Hartzell. I forgot
about but that is a good vet to have.
I mean, it's just depth at that point.
Yeah,
but then they still
vet to have on the team.
The question mark in goal too, right?
Well, they got Gittleman.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
wow.
So Matt Reese, I think, is someone who can immediately come in and start on that defense. And again, Jake Pulver seems like a pretty good defenseman to be next to. So
for sure,
I'm expecting big things from Matt Reese, but I think he's a solid defenseman. I think with Gittleman and net, they've uploaded some talent on both sides of the ball there.
Yeah, I got a kind of early hot take. I think Matt Reese has about 5 points this season. I think when he is able to turn the ball around near the midfield, and now he's throwing down to Lyle Marcus, I think it's gonna be a problem on the fast break. Because when the Cannons got out and played fast, they played really well. Their issue was just when they would get out ahead, they didn't.
There's one thing Gittleman loves is getting out of the cage.
Quick outlets.
Yeah,
quick outlets. He's gonna hit Lyle on every outlet. It's gonna be fun, man. I'm excited.
James, who do you think biggest signing so far?
We said we can do re-signings as well.
Yeah,
right. If they're staying with the team. Oddly, man, I think Connor Fields re-signing with the Archers is huge.
I almost picked that one.
Did you? I just always remember Bryce talking about how big a role he's going to play in the playoffs, and he was like their number one go-to guy on offense. So the fact that they obviously are moving in a direction where he's kind of the future, I feel like that's massive for them. Obviously, Archers have a lot of things that they need to deal with to get past the playoffs, but Connor Fields was a huge part. I think he had 3-1 in the playoff game, something like that. And we didn't have a healthy Grant Ament, so I don't think we know what the Archers look like until Grant's 100%.
No, I fully agree, and I think losing Holman, losing Manny, and I mean they're going to have to rely on Connor Fields more this year. But you've got Ament healthy, you've got Matt Moore in his second year, like that. The Archers still have a ton of firepower on offense, even after losing Holman and Manny. So, but yeah, I mean, it was crucial to keep Connor Fields.
This is kind of setting up Matt Moore to have a big season, man. Like
it is
a huge season. Like he's gonna have the ball in his stick a lot. He's gonna obviously
if there's the green lacrosse light. Fantasy again, I'm taking Matt Moore early.
I mean, his ability to just shoot in defender's face, like they're not there. That's terrifying.
It makes no sense to me watching. It really doesn't. Like I'm like, oh, he's covered, and he just shoots right through it. It's great.
Definitely agree.
Yeah, I
don't
know. It's the Archers. So I have Matt Reese, but
Yeah.
I don't know. The Archers, like, if you just looked at it at first glance, you're like, damn, they lost a lot of people, but they were just such a deep team.
Yeah.
I did see a few guys like Mark McNeil still have to re-sign if they're keeping
Yep.
him. So like they need the shorties to stay, but
Yep.
I don't know. Losing Gittleman was big though.
Yeah, especially from a leadership perspective,
Yeah.
communication, all those things are huge. But man, I just thought about think about a Connor Fields, Mac O'Keefe pick and pop. And if you rotate up to that, it's gonna be Grant Amen behind that. That is, dude, that's a lot to cover. Because as we've
That's
seen,
like
Mac O'Keefe only needs a
franchise
step.
mode in Madden.
Seriously. I mean, Mac O'Keefe only needs one step. That's it. So
Yes.
that pick and pop where you have to then decide between Connor Fields getting topside, a Mac O'Keefe outside low to high riser, or Grant Ament coming around the cage. That's a tough decision.
Yeah, I'm good on that.
That's a tough decision. Wow.
I do not want to be the man who has to decide which one to cover.
No, I will not.
At my job.
Nope.
So let's talk through a few remaining free agents and where we think they're going to end up. First one is CVR himself, Cade Van Raphorst.
Really hope Atlas resigns him.
I would certainly hope you do.
That's my hope, and I think that's what will happen. I think he was kind of the centerfold of our defense last year in terms of like the reliable long pull, and a good matchup. I didn't realize. I thought we had Max Wayne through next year, so he's also a free agent. Just saying, like, I think it would be a loss to lose CVR over Max, but
100%.
If
Not
you
just
guys
from
don't,
talent, but from leadership.
if you guys don't re-sign Cade and Canada has an off year, that could get bad. That could get really bad.
We re-signed Durkin, which is great. Like he's a great vet leader on the team, you know. But sure. I think yeah, losing CVR would be huge. But he would also like. I get why other teams would go after him because he's 100%. Like he's that valuable defender. So, you know, it's kind of making me nervous as an Atlas fan. But like any team should be.
Wait, you're an Atlas fan?
Shut up.
Oh.
Yeah, like Cannons. I think the Cannons would make a.
Yo, chill. Pass the mic to me, dude.
So would that be Matt, Cade, and Jake Pulver?
That's
okay. Well, I'm gonna flip it to myself because I'm going with might be a hot take. Doesn't sound like it. I think the Cannons' last big signing is Cade Van Raphorst. I think they're going all in this year.
Put that juju.
And again, to do that, like you have nothing to lose. You won one game. And two, like this league is so competitive and that you only have 7 other teams to beat.
Yeah.
Like, so going all in is not, I don't think necessarily jeopardizing your future like it is in a bigger sport. But
sure,
dude, Cade Van Raphorst, Matt Reese, and Jake Pulver with Gittleman and net. That's a tough backside of the field.
That is wow.
So I don't know. I think Atlas with a new coach, they know they got to switch some things up.
Sure.
They're keeping Rexroad. They're keeping Durkin. I don't know. Those 3 have been there since the start of the league, pretty much. So it's like, I think you got to switch something up. I think Cade Van Raphorst is still a very, very good defenseman on both sides of the ball in transition. He's incredible. So
100%.
I think Cannons look at him.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right.
It'd be sick.
I think that's 100% chance happening. Wait, do we know when free agency closes?
I don't actually.
Okay. Actually, yeah. I'd
be curious to know.
We could find out.
Yeah, but I think I assumed by now that the Chaos would have done more. They just
your Chaos has been quiet.
Yeah, they're lagging behind. So I don't know if there's a quote unquote blockbuster deal that they're working on, or if they just I don't know. Just we've so far let go of Matt Keefe, signed one of our short 6 CJ Costa deals. So I don't know, just waiting.
Well, let's talk about the Chaos because Mr. Max Adler is also still a free agent. Do you think he returns?
I think he does. He was an intricate part of our run towards the end of the playoffs. So, yeah, I think he comes back.
Sam?
I think they I'm kind of gonna agree with James. I think they kind of want to get that championship back. Um, I don't know. I'm not sure. Like I was trying to find like what Chaos has in terms of draft picks and their positions, because like that might determine if they go get a Fogo from college or not. But in terms of how he performed last year, I would if I was Chaos, I'd take him. I think he got good looks against like some of the better guys that we say, um, and played pretty well. So I think it'd be smart to resign him.
Well, I've got another hot take here, I think, but
Sure.
I could see the Whip Snakes signing Max Adler just for 1 year. And I will say, I will preface this. I read this in an article. I don't know who wrote it. I forgot, but I completely forgot that Nardella is coming off a torn ACL.
Oh, that's right.
So they don't know if he's going to be ready for the start of the year.
He tore it last month. The first game is going to be in June.
He tore it last month.
Yeah, he tore it getting ready for the championship series.
Oh shit, you're right. Yeah, so
Yeah.
and the first game's in May? Yeah, no chance he's gonna be ready. So he's probably missing majority of the year, probably the whole year.
Yeah, I mean, but then that kind of begs the question: are we moving forward with Dragon Aisling? We would
Well,
need
so yeah, that's what I'm saying is like I kind of want to mention that after Sam's take, because we've
Yeah.
obviously seen with teams like the Archers and stuff is when you draft a Fogo, they're not necessarily going to be ready to compete with some of these better guys like Baptiste, so or even remotely compete. So
I mean, it's that, and also like remember the statistics that we got from the playoffs, which was there was no correlation in face-off wins and wins in the playoffs.
yeah,
There was
that's true.
multiple teams, multiple games that lost the face-off battle, but won the game. So
Yeah, I think it's doable, but obviously winning
yeah,
faceoffs helps. So I think
yeah, for sure.
a team like Whip Snakes, that could be the edge to, especially now with that offense.
Yeah,
I mean, that attack line is stupid. So it was already stupid, but now it's even more stupid. So,
I mean,
um,
but is there a reality that Will Manny's gonna be okay with being the third-ish option?
no, oh wow. I mean, I hope he
You
thought
know,
of that before he signed with them.
like I know, but like a lot of people love to see a trade like that and just say like, "Oh, Will Manny's good. The Whip Snakes are good. This is all gonna be good." But that's not what we've seen in sports at all. It has to mesh. I mean, Rambo
Or
and
with the
Manny.
Atlas. I mean, you need chemistry.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
30
Yeah.
seconds
Okay.
for
Yes.
rebuttal.
I can't really rebuttal that.
I know.
But
That's
no,
why
I just like it's so hard to just say like, oh yeah, Will Manny's going to be also on the whips. I'm like, he and Rambo have to be homies. He
Oh
has
yeah,
to be
for
okay
sure.
with being open sometimes, and Rambo still taking the shot.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
we'll see. We'll see. It's going to be very
Yeah,
interesting.
he could find himself in a very similar situation to what was on the Archers.
Yeah, I mean, 100,
And
100%.
probably will. But so I don't know. I could see, I don't know if it'll necessarily be Adler, but I could see Whip Snakes adding another face-off guy before the draft just for some insurance. I forgot that was last month, so he's probably not going to play at all this year. There's no way.
Yeah, which makes me think like, do they go for the Lehigh guy? Who reclassified?
They
or
might.
whatever?
They might.
Like, because
There's
I
just
just
a lot
watched
of
him.
risk with drafting face-off guys, as we've seen.
I know, but he's like, dude, he's built like Farrell. I mean, he's
He's gonna be good.
He's
gonna be good.
So he's gonna be. I think he's a former wrestler too. So
I mean,
it's
I
crazy.
wouldn't be surprised. Like, so that is a hot take. I do think that Chaos want him back. I don't see why you wouldn't. So I could very
Right.
well see him staying, but I think it's between Chaos and Whip Snakes.
Yep, 100%. I think that's right.
So
That's right.
flipping to the Whip Snakes, Justin Gutterding also has not signed anywhere yet. James, thoughts on where he might go?
Man, that's hard, but I kind of envision what does the line look like that has Miles, Berchand, and Gutterding for the Redwoods? Like
Dude, I said the Redwoods too.
That's a really hard matchup. Gutterding coming out of the box. I mean, you have to pull one of the two big guys, and Gutterding can draw slides. So I think the Redwoods is a fit, and maybe they won't get in these slums of offense if they have somebody who's able to flow and dodge and get open. So I like Redwoods.
I said that as well for the same reason. The only thing I'll add is that would be a full Duke midfield line, which I would love to see.
Am I crazy in saying that?
Oh shit! I got you.
Got
Duke is a
traded from-
school in Durham. It's like right next to Raleigh.
No, he what do you
Didn't Gutterdine get traded from the Redwoods to the Whip though?
Am
I crazy?
Yes,
Or am I-
I think you're right. He went there after Chrome.
Oh yeah. Never mind.
Wait,
Yeah.
no.
He got-
Wait, did he?
It was from Chrome. It was from Chrome.
So it was from Crum.
I thought
Yeah,
he
you're right.
did
I don't
go
know
to
why I
Redwoods
thought
in
he was
between
from
that.
Redwoods.
You're right. I'll edit that out. Don't worry.
Yeah, please.
No, just me being wrong. I'll keep your
Wow, man.
nonsense.
Talk about an echo chamber. My
The
goodness.
perks of being the editor.
Love that. Love that. I
Jeez,
like
I
that.
love that. Then.
What's up? What's up?
I love
Oh,
that.
him going to the Redwoods.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like because the Redwoods kind of fell through when we all thought they were hitting their stride, people forgot that Charlie was unstoppable at the end of the year. Like I didn't see one poll stop that man. I mean, he was doing behind the backs weekly. And so to add someone that can create like him, I don't know. It's just very weird because we talked so poorly about the Redwoods. Then they played really well. Miles had a hat trick. Charlie looks unguardable, and then they just lost. So it's not like those things didn't happen.
A big part of that was because when we were at the games in Charlotte, they scored 4 goals against Chrome the entire game.
That's right.
And we were all like, "This is the worst PLL game I've ever seen."
They're terrible. They're really.
They were so bad.
I was about to go on a Bryce Chrome rant about the Redwoods.
Oh man. Wait, we have to have Bryce back on before the season starts.
Absolutely.
Whatever team he says is gonna be terrible, I'm putting so much money on the
I'm calling FanDuel. I'm saying whatever Bryce says, the opposite.
My next 3 paychecks, lay it on this team.
Yes, all that. So I'll tell him. He'll definitely want to come on. He'll want to defend himself.
All right, so we're gonna flip back to Chaos.
Okay.
You're he's got to be a captain, Mr. Jared Newman, right? He was a captain last year, right?
I think he was the first year, but I don't think he was the second year, man. I
Maybe
really
that's
don't, because usually it's Blaze.
Okay. Do you think he stays?
The thing that's tough about Newman is if he goes, it sounds crazy now, but I'm not that upset. He's kind of lost his cover ability, I guess I'll say. He's still the athletic guy I've seen before, but he gave up topside to Rambo 5 times in a game. He goes over the head sometimes, so I think he actually will thrive somewhere else. I think it might be the Washington Commanders effect. He's going to go elsewhere and absolutely eat. But if he moves on, I'm actually okay with that. I'm definitely ready for something better on defense because, God forbid, Blaze has a streak of 2 or 3 games where he doesn't play well. We need better defenders, man. We can't expect Blaze to make 20 saves a game. Like that's just not sustainable. So,
yeah, I get that. I wouldn't
really
disagree with that. I think just given his age, they might give him a chance to go somewhere else. I also think they want to give Brett Kennedy a bigger role.
Yeah.
And you've got Jack Rowlett, who's absolute strap, so he's kind of like the anchor of that defense. So
Good.
I think whatever players you have on the wings it's not really. I don't think it's going to harm your defense as long as you have Rowlett there. So I think Brett Kennedy, it's a position for him to grow and learn in that system.
Yeah.
But that would mean you guys only have 3 defensive poles on the roster, though.
I mean, we also have a great class coming out. Like a very
well, that's what I'm saying. Like, so that just would have to be a focus for the draft. But I do
100%.
think Jared Newman leaves. I don't really know where he goes, but I think you're right. I think the Chaos let him walk.
I honestly think somebody could use him better elsewhere. I think his play in the open field and all that's fantastic. I mean, like a team like the Cannons, but the Chaos we don't slow the ball down, but we have to ensure that there are offensive guys are on the field. So we have to get over the midline, do our subs, and then run our fun offense. We're not one to just pick up the ball, throw it 60 yards to Lyle. But so I feel like if he goes to a guy like Cannons, he can go back to his 2019 shooting Jared Newman, but I don't know.
Samuel?
We shall see. Sam doesn't know.
Yo, fuck you.
Now I gotta edit that out. Thanks. Just creating more work.
I lost my train of thought.
Jared Newman.
Thank you. I kind of agree with James that it's not a complete loss based on Chaos's performance during the regular season last year. Not 100% reliable and had to rely on Blaze. I'm not sure who could use him. I mean, he's a super physical player. So like
Yeah.
I think any team could use that physicalness, but like, I think he is a liability sometimes on like, covering those dangerous attackmen like Rambo or I'm blanking on Sowers or anybody like that. So
Yeah.
not that I don't think he won't get signed. I think he's too talented not to get signed, but he might be like, I don't think he'll get signed right away. Like I don't think it's going to be a quick one because I'm not sure when the free agency ends. So
yeah, we gotta figure that out. Matt, I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think Chase Frazier's punch in the championship game is going to slow down any signings, re-signings or signings?
Ooh, that's a good question. I hadn't really pieced that into the equation.
A punch in and of itself isn't a big deal, Sam, to kind of rebuttal your nod, but time and place, man. Time and place.
Good point.
That was
I don't think it was
incredibly,
I don't think it was the punch, it was more the scenario.
Right. Like how many quarterbacks got hit late out of bounds this season? But like we're all talking about when the Dolphins guy obviously did it because that's
cost them the game.
Yeah. Exactly. So it's just not the same play. It's not.
And the Bengals cost them the game against the Chiefs.
Correct.
But
again,
I think that's a good question. I think that would certainly help explain why he hasn't signed anywhere yet. But I think as we get closer to the end of free agency and teams start realizing they still have gaps, I think then it will. So I think to this point it has affected it. I don't think it will towards the end of free agency.
Yeah, because then you kind of have to look at lay of the land. What do we have? What did we get? And what can we get in the draft? And does Chase, do anything to change that? If he doesn't, then he move on.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a good question. So I think it could, but
wow.
I don't know. Chase Frazier's just still so talented. I don't know if you could.
I mean,
as we get closer to that,
he's just an unbelievable finisher, man. I mean, it'd be really hard to lose some close games because somebody dropped on the crease and you're like,
I also think the way Andy Towers like his like high energy, like in those like high energy plays, hustle plays kind of thing. Like I think Frazier fits into that mold, if you will.
I agree.
So I do not see Chaos losing him as a valuable attackman that he's been so far.
Yeah.
So I would be shocked if he goes anywhere else.
I mean, and he's also a good fit with the offense.
Exactly.
Tough angles, he doesn't really need to dodge. So,
and
I don't know. It's just, yeah, he actually, especially towards the end of the season, it's just like the little things. Like he doesn't chase out balls sometimes. So, as the league gets more competitive, which obviously every year it has, I mean, things like that are going to matter. The little things do, they're going to matter for the team camaraderie and whatnot. So. That's going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, and I think so. There's definitely a few teams like Saint Laurent, coach for Redwoods, like with his militaristic style, where he's the kind of coach that appreciates things, those non-tangibles like hustle and heart and stuff. So I think a team like the Redwoods, even if they could use him, which they could, are probably one of the ones that would pass on him for that reason.
Yeah, especially because Redwoods are known for riding incredibly hard. Exactly. Hustling until you try to get the ball out of balance, and like Chase Frazier is just like too cool to do that. So,
but I mean, if he doesn't get signed during this free agency period, I think as the season goes, if he's still a free agent, some team's going to be like, we really need help, and is going to pick him up. So he'll go somewhere.
Yeah, I agree. Do we know how long Bernlohr is signed for, and why the Whips re-signed Brian Phipps already? Is Bernlohr good through 2024? Or did they sign him for
he's not on the free agency thing, so he should be.
Okay. I'm just curious why are they so quick to sign a goalie? Does it have to do with like his injury? I don't know.
I mean, that's a fair question.
Because foot injuries can linger, so it might be I don't know, just something to.
Yeah, he's not on the free agency tracker, so he's good through at least next year.
Through it. Okay, that's what that means. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Wow, that's very interesting.
So let's turn to the whips because Mr. Jake Bernhardt, also a free agent.
Huge.
I think he returns to whips. I think he's
So do I.
too integral of a part of that team to let him walk.
Agree.
So, does anyone disagree?
I was gonna say I don't know if I can. I
I
don't
don't.
know if I can
I
disagree.
mean, I don't
with
know
that.
who their other SSDM is. One sec.
Matt, what's going to be interesting is seeing, I think before we didn't have coaches really like, quote unquote, stocking the college game to see who's going to come out of the draft. Like, I'm wondering how much free agency is going to change. Obviously, knock on wood, but like, let's say Sam Hanley has some type of injury. Like, now that's going to mean something, right? Like, that's going to be really interesting to have the best players in college. If they get hurt in their senior year, that changes the whole plan for a lot of these teams. It's kind of crazy that we're at this point with Ross,
I
Nah.
love that though. I've been looking forward to this point.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like really cool to think about when someone goes down in the field, you're gonna be like, wow, that's the defender at
And
Yale,
having
like, he's
an actual like pool of talent that you can like.
yeah,
Because
right.
I mean, the most devastating thing is when you see a player go down in professional sports and they're on such a great run. Like, it's like Embiid going down for the Sixers. You're like, everything is done. Everything's over.
Yeah.
And it can happen so easily in the PLL too.
Quick,
So
yeah, so quickly.
Sam,
it's just
comment.
it's gonna be interesting.
My hot take. I'm gonna go.
Here we go. Sam-alytics.
Let's go.
I think it's not, or the hot take is I don't think Jake Bernhardt returns to the Whipsnakes, and reason why is because we saw a lot of Roman Pugliese and Tyler Warner during the championship series, and they showed up and played well, and kind of showed that the offensive aspect of their game while also being a defensive, being able to rely on them defensively, like in that crazy sixes format. So, and they're, I don't want to call out being 33 years old because like I'm closer to that than 26, but
James is the closest, but
yeah, I'm the most wise as well. So we're good.
Wisest.
Hot take. I don't think he returns because I think they have a young core of D middies. So
I think that would be a hot take before the championship series, but now that we've seen who Roman Pugliese can be,
right.
I don't know if I'd classify that as a hot take.
Well, it's just because of how just Bernhardt and how effective he is both sides of the ball, like proven throughout his career. So I just think it's a great.
Did he get hurt last year?
Wait, Bernhardt?
Bernhardt?
Dude, it says here he played 8 games.
Then yes.
And he had 4 ground balls and 1 point.
Yeah, damn.
That's like they really moved like on to Pugliese, huh? Like
I mean, the flip side of that is we're now seeing multiple teams, if not most teams, keep multiple shorties on the roster, like multiple good shorties on the roster. Yeah. Like the Archers were clearly the most shorty heavy team, but like, the Water Dogs have multiple ones that they use. I think most teams do, except for maybe like Cannons, but so I don't know. I mean, I think Jake Bernhardt could still start, but Roman Pugliese looked damn good in that championship series. Like there's a very real chance of him being above Jake Bernhardt on the depth chart.
Yeah, and it kind of solidifies what Mark McNeil said on our pod. Like, you want to talk about how important SSDMs are? Look how many have already re-signed. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I think
some people like that was the first thing they locked up. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like that's the first thing especially as the talent in the league gets more and more and more. I mean, think about a hypothetical line with the Atlas with Sam Hanley. Like that's.
I don't want to think about that.
I know.
I'm refusing to think about it.
It's coming.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to handle.
It's coming. That's really scary. Awful.
Yeah,
awful.
it is.
But so last one's interesting because Nick Morocco, former goalie of the Cannons, or could still be.
Yeah.
is currently a free agent. Now they did sign Gittleman. Where do we think Morocco goes?
Dude, I feel so bad for
know.
him because he was so hot that first year.
I
And he was
know.
abysmal the year after.
He was Timmy Troutner. He was Timmy Troutner.
Like literally the same thing. So who takes him? Jeez.
I've got a good one for this.
You're gonna choose the Atlas.
Damn, no, that's a good one though. I should have picked Atlas.
Wait, Sam, that's not even a knock on your boy.
That's not a jab. Don't say
No,
that's
no,
a
no.
jab.
I'm not saying it is.
I'm on those games where Concannon's not seeing the ball, which happens. It'd be nice to throw Morocco in there for, I don't know, humbling in one aspect, but two, just to kind of have a solid backup. And worst case scenario, man, you get to see 2020 Morocco, who was a brick wall.
Wait, do you guys still have Colarusso?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
As far as I
Yeah.
know,
3
'cause I
goalies
know
never hurt.
we released Road. I'm correct.
I think you do still have Colarusso.
I think so.
I think with Concannon in net, you need a Colarusso. But I don't know. Maybe if they sign, so I don't know. So I
Yo,
said
Matt, say your take.
I said Redwoods. I'm getting to that.
Redwood.
I said Redwoods for the same reason because I think you've got Timmy Troutner, who 2 years ago was phenomenal in net. Last year, awful in net.
Terrible.
Jack Kelly, rookie last year, started off shaky, finished the year really well.
Yeah.
So I think Redwoods bring in Morocco just for a little camp competition to see who the starting is.
So I want to agree with that, but Matt, I'm just kind of thinking about we're holding Morocco to the same standard that we just talked really poorly about their defense. So like,
What do you mean?
We're saying Morocco had a bad year, but in the other breath, we're saying the Cannons had a horrible defense.
Oh, I mean, he
And
got
that's what they
shelled
did.
last year.
That's what I'm
There's no denying
saying.
that.
So like, is there a reality where Morocco didn't drop? It was just, I mean, dude, their defense was, I mean, they were giving up so many shots. We already talked about how they need to add defense. If he gets 2 more solid defenders, do we see old Morocco?
So that's a good point.
You know?
And I think if he stepped into the Redwoods or the Atlas right now, I'm not saying
Yeah.
I guarantee he would be, but he could very well be the starting goalie for them.
Yeah.
He could be the starting goalie, I think, for most teams. Maybe not, well, actually,
Not Whips.
definitely not Chaos, not Whips, not Water
Not
Dogs.
Whips.
So
Not yes. 100%.
I think any other team, so mainly Water Dogs or Archers or Redwoods or Atlas, not Water Dogs.
Archers.
Archers he could be.
I kind of like that.
I can see
Archers
that.
I could see.
I kind of like that, but
There's
All
the
right.
back-
Actually,
I mean,
Archers,
dude,
now that I
I
think about it,
mean-
makes more sense.
it does. I think Archers is the right answer, but I don't know. I just, you know, lacrosse is tough, and goalie is tough, particularly because sometimes you're just not seeing the ball. You know, it has nothing to do with your skill. It's just kind of how the position is. So
I just think
he's
the
had it- he
Archers
had a year that
really,
wasn't.
really want to give Brett Dobson a chance.
Yeah,
But I think that's so right now, Brett Dobson's the only goalie on the roster.
Yeah.
So I think Morocco fits perfectly in that equation because, like you just said, let Dobson start maybe. But if he gets shaky, you've got Morocco to bring in who you know can be solid in that.
yeah, and
I like it.
wow, I do. I actually like
I'm
that.
switching the pick. Archers. You convinced me.
Oh, okay.
James in sales, so he's really good at that.
Yeah, I tried. If you guys want to have some fun, go watch Dobson's highlight tape. It's insane. It is like some of the saves he made, but I don't know. I think we have to. And Sam, I'm not trying to bash your goalie or anything, but Drake Porter looked really good in the championship series. He obviously played goalie for you guys. So does another team try to get him that he looked like I mean, this is his first time seeing PLL shots and he played really well. So I don't know. I feel like that might be somebody who, if Concannon doesn't have a great first couple of games, he could easily scoop in there and pull a Morocco. So
I mean, it's going to come down to his 2-point, like how he, if he can save them, right? Like everybody's saying about it, like that's his weakness. He proved in the championship series he can guard the crease better than almost any goalie.
But
We knew that,
than
though.
anybody.
Right,
Better than anybody. Better than
But it's
anybody.
like,
He is
I
the
think
best
if
at it.
he improves and shows that he can see those shots that we need him to see, I don't see, or I see him staying the starter, but it's not. I don't think it's a hot take at all to to maybe see him get replaced this offseason. Like
Yep.
he's been there for 3 years, and
I agree with this.
yeah,
It's kind of interesting that it's like the opposite side of the ball. If Romar's hitting his twos and Cannon's saving those, you guys win.
oh,
Like, I mean, you guys win every time.
we're breaking Matt's 20 point thing. Like,
Oh,
yeah,
Would love to see it, just not against the Water Dogs. But
Right.
well, do we think Concannon is officially on the hot seat this year?
yes.
absolutely.
Yes.
Just like the Archers.
Did
were
we
last
say the
year.
same thing last year?
Yes.
No.
we did. We did.
I
Or at
didn't.
least I said
I didn't think he was on the hot
I
seat.
thought he'd get benched a couple games.
Yeah, that's fair. I thought that too, actually, but
I mean, there's too much talent, man. There's a lot of talent. There's some good
Yeah.
goalies coming out too.
so Sam Morocco, where do you think he goes?
I think
Yeah,
I think he stays.
With Cannons?
with Cannons.
I think he stays because the
Wow.
Cannons. I don't think they have. If I remember correctly, I don't. They gave up a lot of draft picks from this year.
Correct, the number one pick.
There, I don't think they have the draft picks to fall back onto a goalie if they let Morocco leave, and I think they're gonna hope that he has another 2021 season.
Yeah.
I think it's just gonna be like, hey, we're gonna have to eat it. Maybe sign another defender and see what we can do.
Wow. It's kind of nuts how much has happened in what free agency started. Was it this Monday or was it last week?
This week.
Was it this
Monday.
Monday?
It was this
Yeah.
Monday, yeah.
Yeah, like think about what's happened so far. Like that's
That's
crazy.
what I'm saying. Like
That
it's
first signing was
been a lot.
bombshell.
Yeah, that's
Well, yeah,
that's
that was a
wild.
huge, that was a blockbuster one to start off. They did that
Right.
right.
Oh
PLL
yeah,
marketing,
they did.
fantastic job.
Oh, they killed it. They killed it, and they definitely have some burner accounts in there. They're just like, this isn't a good trade. I'm like, okay.
starting debates.
Well, man, he can't shoot. It's like, all right.
Also,
all
if you
right,
guys
burner
want to hire
accounts are
people to make burner accounts, we'll do it for you.
Top
absolutely,
cheddar 214.
I will do that.
We should
I
do that.
will.
We should just create PLO burners and just start just
stir
wild
the pot.
debates.
I mean, I sent you guys that article. They're looking for
Honestly,
AP
Blaze should
writers.
get benched.
Oh my
All right, chill.
People would know we were just trolling at that point.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Please don't say that.
All right. Well, so we did want to flip and mention the games in Japan coming up next week. So the PLL announced that they're partnering with World Cross, and we'll be having exhibition games in Japan.
Yeesh.
So Paul Rabel said, and I quote, that this is essential to their bid to return lacrosse to the Olympics.
Correct.
So the fact that they're even in this position, I want your all's take. What does this mean for the PLL, but bigger, the actual sport of lacrosse? Do you think lacrosse is ready to return to the Olympics?
I have been told that the only way they'll put it in the Olympics is the sixes format. And truthfully, I think we need to nail down our rules that make sense, measurements, what have you, size of the field, all that, before we move it on to the Olympics. So I think lacrosse does belong there, but I think we have to do a little bit of our homework. And some of that's going to involve some analytics of what makes sense. But I don't want to put forward a half-done project just because we have an opportunity to. I would rather have a finished product that is, hey, this is what lacrosse is to the world, and these are the actual rules. This is how it's played, and then having people see the game from that angle. So.
Yeah, I agree. I think the sport itself is big enough. I don't think, from a professional standpoint, we have the logistics laid out. Like, it hasn't been finalized enough.
Exactly.
But
I think that's what this
go
exhibition might be.
ahead. Huh?
I'm just sorry. I was just
No. It's very important. What'd you say?
I think that's what this exhibition tournament is for, is to hammer out some of those logistic details.
Probably, yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah. So I get, your point, both your points is valid. But I saw a graphic today, like I think it was PLL put it out on their Instagram. It showed like all the countries that are participating in this this World Exhibition game,
Yep.
I was blown away by how
Yeah.
many European countries, Asian countries are sending teams. Like,
Yep.
I didn't
It's
realize
sick.
it was that big. Like,
Well,
I
and
thought it
that's what
was
I'm
like,
that's why I'm curious to watch, because one, I want to see the level of competition also,
100%.
because just because you can man a team,
right.
like if you're just trekking 6 dudes out there who, you know, are good at lacrosse and they're going up against 6 PLL guys, they're going to get boat raced.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bad. Like really bad.
But I don't know. I mean, I agree. I was shocked at some of the countries that even would be
I just think
interested in doing
it's-
this for lacrosse.
I
But
think it's great that it's
that's
that
great.
far,
That's fantastic.
widespread. Like,
Yes.
um,
Means so much for our sport.
but I love the fact that sixes would be the Olympic format. I think that it's fast enough to keep people engaged and grow it still.
Yeah, it has to be
and
sixes.
right. And I mean, it looks good on us because like we would field a great team, but
Exactly.
But I will
uh,
say, if getting to the Olympics is obviously huge because of the exposure, but
Yeah.
if there's one time people will turn on a sport they know nothing about just so they can watch
It's
it's the damn
Olympics.
Olympics.
It's the
Like my
Olympics.
parents would be, I would find my dad watching like figure skaters from Sweden,
Yep.
or you know, like the rings and gymnasts.
I mean,
like,
I haven't missed a
what are you
bobsled match
watching?
in 4 years.
That's
Like,
what I'm
every
saying.
time it's
So
on,
like,
I'm like, yep.
and if you just flip the channel and you're seeing sixes lacrosse
Mhm.
with, as soon as the goal score, there's no break, it's just transition back the other
Right.
way, you're watching
Right.
that.
Right. So I agree with that. But what I'm saying is, if we're trying to grow the sport, we're gonna look like we have the answer key when we have Romar pulling from 13 when other guys are learning how to cradle. You know what I mean? Like
That's what I'm saying. The
I mean, dude,
competition has to be
there's a curve. I mean, dude, Romar's gonna be charged with assault when he goes over there. We can't.
Dude,
Like,
that
dude,
goalie is gonna be
like it's gonna look like none of the team in the movie. Are you kidding me? Oh my god!
Wow, Sam's never
no
seen that other
chance.
team
No
movie.
chance.
No
He got that
chance.
reference.
Have you seen
Anyway.
it? Have you seen it?
He has, but he doesn't remember. He has no idea. Let's see what I'm talking about. But like, you got to think like, we're like, hey, this is lacrosse. Also, here's Nakai Montgomery, Mark McNeil, Romar. You got to cover. CJ Cosby is going to be covering you. Sergio Perkovic. Like, dude, I feel like we're like, I mean, this is kind of bully time. You have 2 6'5" middies coming down.
Yeah, it's gonna look like the Bad Boys.
Yes, and like, I'm sorry, but what gentleman living in Japan right now is waking up every day knowing that he can cover Michael Sowers?
There's
Not
no
one.
chance. There's no
Not
chance.
one. Not one. They, dude.
Well, and
So,
I'm almost my pessimistic side is coming out of that the USA is
It
going to
always does.
absolutely run train on this tournament,
He's always pessimistic.
and the Olympics side, that's just, you know, it's been recognized. We're moving past it.
So pessimist. Oh, all right.
Not type A. But well, and I think that could be bad, because if the USA runs train on this,
Exactly. That's
like
what I
the
don't
Olympic
want.
committee is going to be like this is a guaranteed gold medal. We're not putting this in the Olympics.
Seriously. And like, it's about growing the sport, you know? So like, I want to like
Right.
all the teams to be out there playing, understanding the sport better, getting better, because as we have seen with the NBA, look what happened when we opened the gates to the world. I mean, 2 of our top 5 players in the league right now are not born in the US.
Yeah.
I mean,
Giannis.
Joker, Giannis, Embiid,
Luca.
Luca, exactly. So like, look what happened when we did it correctly, which is something I can tout the NBA is doing. And I think there's a reality where that happens in these places too. I think lacrosse takes off. It's addicting. It's a lot of fun, and I want to see us having Canada, US, and everybody else be a really crazy game. Like I would love that. I would love that more than anything.
Well, and it's the same thing with golf. Like, remember that quote from golf? It was, you know, the best golfers probably never picked up a golf club.
Yeah.
Because it's like lacrosse just isn't currently accessible to everybody in the country, or just
True.
of interest.
True.
So I'm like, this will open the floodgates to a lot of more kids wanting to be involved in the sport, and you're going to see the talent increase worldwide from it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we have some really good advocates who are in the PLL right now who are doing a good job of getting that outreach. I mean, I know Mark McNeil does a couple of these programs. Nakai does as
Oh,
well,
yeah.
as far as, you know, getting it to more kids. Cause like the reality is once kids play it, I mean, you're hooked. I mean, you're generally hooked. So
Yep.
I'm also excited for the fact of like, you know how European basketball and the NBA, like they're played much differently. Like we don't know what could be concocted when these other countries start playing this sport. And what if we start seeing sets and just gameplay that we've never seen before? Lacrosse is very customizable. It's going to be fun to see what other countries do to it. So
What if like Japan or some Asian country comes out with all
That's
these
what I'm
like
saying.
fucking trick shots and just
It'd be amazing.
blows USA out?
it would be.
They're pulling up from
That's what I'm saying.
midfield.
I think
And
that'd be
like,
super cool. though.
And for people who don't like lacrosse, they'll watch just to see the USA
Oh,
play on
hell
lacrosse.
yeah.
You know, it's gonna be great.
You're gonna
it's gonna
have
be great.
guys our dad's age in their lazy boy, just like I could
100%.
do that.
Oh my god, I could do that,
It's a stick and a ball. I could do that.
dude. I can definitely
10 yards, I could do that.
Oh my god. Oh, dude,
I might watch this with my dad just to hear him say that. I could do this.
I mean, it's funny though because the
Expert goal.
PLL is so fun that whenever I've done that with somebody, they've been like, "Wow, these guys are really good." Like every single person has been like, "This is crazy." I'm like, "I know."
well,
It's-
and like you know, if you've watched like that, and that's my problem is that people who have watched lacrosse, unless you've watched professional, you've watched like rec league or club
Right,
lacrosse, where it's a lot of breaks, very slow paced,
Yeah.
a lot of missed shots. Like
Yeah.
you're not really seeing any goalie saves. When you
No.
watch the championship series or a sixes format, it is way different than what you're used to.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
and
think it could turn a lot of people on.
I 100% agree. I think my Scott Mitchell, our high school coach, used to say this, but bad lacrosse is different than other sports. If you have a team that doesn't have stick skills, you generally cannot play the sport.
I
Like,
mean, it'd be brutal.
And it doesn't look like correct. Like we were getting so frustrated with him saying like we're not at a level where we can play lacrosse yet. And then he took us to the Final Four, and I saw the ball just whipping around and whipping around. I was like, oh, you're not supposed to drop it. I thought that was just like a part of the
I'm
gig,
just
so-
imagining like the Denmark team just running up the field like they don't know how to cradle. They're just holding the balls.
And it's just like Mark McNeil. He's like, just blow the whistle.
Just like
Just blow the
mines.
whistle. Blow the whistle. I played against the Bretons. This is crazy. Like this is wild.
So
This
many
tournament
yards.
could be really fun to watch.
I think it's. I mean, but I do think some teams are gonna surprise us because every time we've
Yeah.
played the World Games, there's been a lot more competition, especially with social media and such. So it's gonna be good. We have a fun roster. We have a very,
I mean,
actually
North Korea,
very
we
fun-
don't even know what's going on in that country. They could be lacrosse gods for all we know.
That's
Unlikely, but it could
That's-
happen.
That's true. I guess we would call
Possible,
them.
I guess.
We would call them the bomb squad.
That's
Sure.
we have to wrap this up.
Okay.
Um,
Jesus.
Don't make it political.
All right. Well, I think that's all we got.
Yeah.
Appreciate y'all tuning in. We have had conversation with Mr. Joe Keegan himself to join the
Thank you, Joe.
podcast. So hopefully that episode is coming soon. We are
Hopefully.
very excited. We're gonna pick his brain for some insider info
Yeah.
and
He's
hopefully get
out.
us jobs at the PLO.
Yes.
All right. We'll talk to y'all later. Peace.
See ya.